How about... There we go. Sorry about that. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another painting stream. This time it's Sunday morning minis, because I couldn't actually stream yesterday morning, but wanted to get in a stream today, and I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. Like, I unfortunately couldn't do the Tuesday stream to potentially finish off Gravity Rush 2. And I was really bummed about that. I wasn't able to make it up on Wednesday. Which was just like, okay, well, at least I still have the Saturday stream coming up, and then I just couldn't do the Saturday stream, and just like, oh no, I actually really want to stream, and I just can't get around to it. But thankfully, this morning seems to be not busy, so happily I can actually hop in and do some streaming this morning, and yeah, definitely wanted to do some more painting. We had worked on Korg last time, and you know what, let me zoom in a bit on this. So this is how he turned out, and I am pretty happy with the results. Like, I definitely had to go in more on the metals from last time, because thinning those out was a bit too extreme. It just did not work as far as making them really show up well on the mini. So doing the non-thinned metals was definitely the way to go. But yeah, ended up turning out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, that is Korg. He's still mounted on this because I still need to go through and get him clear coated so that the paint is protected. But that will happen at some point in time. Basically, I ran out of my spray can of clear coats, and I have a ton of Tamiya Paints, what is it, flat clear, clear coat that I can use in my airbrush. But the amount of time it takes to set up the airbrush and then tear it down once I'm done with it is like, I'm not gonna do this on an individual figure basis. I want to make sure that I have like a batch of minis to do, so I'm kind of saving up the minis that I have painted that haven't been clear coated yet. I'm saving those up and waiting until I have like a decent sized batch that's like, okay, now I can justify breaking out the airbrush to do all the clear coat. So yeah, so Korg will get added to the collection of stuff to be clear coated. That way he is actually handleable, and I don't have to worry about the paint wearing off and stuff like that. So yeah, but today we are going to be working on Quicksilver, and I realize it's really hard to see because he is primered in black, so the details don't quite show up well on camera, obviously, but pretty cool looking figure. And yeah, so we are going to be getting this all painted up, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it, and I hope you are along for the ride with me as well. So yeah, that is what we are looking at doing. Sorry, just had to get that set up. My phone was buzzing because I have been getting stuff set up to transition off of Twitter for the eventual downfall of it, because I'm sure that's going to be happening at some point in time. I need to get that updated on Twitch, actually, but I have set myself up on a couple different services, only one of which I can actually post on right now, but I set myself up on Mastodon. So if you'd like to follow me on Mastodon, you can hop on there. I am at Sonic Death Monkey, spelled the same way as my handle on Twitch. So it's at Sonic Death Monkey, and I am on Collectiva Social. Actually, let me put that in the chats, that way he is collectiva social. There we go. So that is my Mastodon profile that I will be using. I am currently cross-posting between Twitter and Mastodon right now, so that way I can keep both updated. But then outside of that, I also have set up my profile on co-host. Same thing on co-host, it's Sonic Death Monkey. Spelled the same way. The problem with co-host right now is they have a manual review process of sign up, and I am still waiting on the getting approved. I've still got probably a couple days to go before my profile gets unlocked and I can actually start posting on there. Because right now all I can do is follow people and like posts, and that's about it. I can't actually post or reply or anything, so it's taking a little bit, but I wanted to sign up on both places because there's people that I follow that have jumped on both. So, well, some folks on some folks on the other. So it's like I might as well have an existence on both just to kind of hedge my bets and also be able to follow people that I was following before. So, yeah, either is up to you if you want to follow me on there. It's probably a good idea to do that before the Twitter completely blows up, but I definitely see that coming down the line, so it's better to be safe than sorry. But yeah. Anyway, that's a lot of bookkeeping up front, and I'm sorry to do so much explanation before we actually get into this, but figured just to make sure that people know about it, wanted to cover that. So yeah, we are going to be working on Quicksilver, and to start off, we are going to be doing some dry brushing. So actually, let me adjust my mic here because I am not lined up correctly for doing my painting style setup for the mic, so that is out of the way now, so I won't bonk my head into it while I'm trying to paint. So yeah, we're going to be starting off doing our slap chop method of dry brushing on a gray, and then we'll do a light dry brushing of our whites for all the high points and stuff like that. So, first things first, we gotta get most of the paint off of the dry brush. Alright, there we go. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this. So yeah, I'm hoping everyone's been doing well. It's been a heck of a busy week, at least for me. I don't know how everyone else has been doing out there. I hope everyone's been doing well. And, yeah. As far as, stuff to talk about, because it's, you know, it's been a little bit of time since I've actually been able to do a stream. I have been continuing my watch through of Lost. I will get back to the MCU stuff at some point. I want to finish up Lost first because that's been a show that I've really been enjoying, and I want to make sure I get that completely finished before I try moving on to other stuff. But yeah, I've been really enjoying the show. It was a surprise to me that I would actually be really enjoying it, because when it was on, I had, like, when it was on live kind of thing, it was a show that I had been told about and it sounded like something I wouldn't be interested in. So I never even ended up giving it a chance, which was a shame, because I'm really enjoying it. And I will say I already know about the ending, because how could you not know about the ending? Especially, you know, having lived through the time when the show was big, when it was airing live kind of thing. There was no way you were going to avoid the spoilers of the finale. So a lot of people took issue with the ending. I don't know, like, even knowing that the ending is coming, I don't know, I'm still pretty eager to see the ending. So, who knows, you know? We'll see. We'll see if it's something that makes me decide the watch wasn't worth it. I can't imagine it will, though, because I'm going to be perfectly honest here, and I know this is kind of a controversial take for some people, but when the Battlestar Galactica reboots, revival, not a revival, but the reboot that they did, the reimagining, when that was on, I, for the most part, really enjoyed that show. It was a bit shaky during, I want to say, season 3, like middle of season 3, because they decided, and when I say they, I mean Sci-Fi Channel was really pushing they were really pushing for less emphasis on emphasis on the serialized aspects of the storytelling in the show. That way they could bring in new viewers that could come in at any point in time and enjoy the show. And perfectly honest, the show does not work well when you take it out of the serialized aspects that it was designed around. So the middle of I think it was the 3rd season, was not great. It was quite boring to remove the main focus that the show had taken up to that point. So yeah, aside from that part, like, I loved the rest of the show, including the ending, which was the main sticking point for people. Like, a lot of people hated the ending of Battlestar Galactica, and I did not. I actually really enjoyed how the ending went. So I may be the weird one here, as far as I can't imagine myself not enjoying the last episode of Lost. So I guess I'm just the weirdo. Alright, so we've got the gray laid down on this, so that is good for that. Now we just need to go through and I'm just gonna move this out of the way. Get the whites for all the high parts laid down. So let's get that going. Okay, so we've got to be very, very light on the let's hit up some of the edges if I can. There we go. And actually, you know what? It's gonna put a little bit more paint on the brush because I hit up the sides of the base and get this brightened up, because then it will make the it'll make the color really pop for when I do the ridge of the base after. Because I generally try to make it so that the villains have a red ridge on the base and the heroes have a blue one. And once I eventually get to the Marvel United X-Men set where they have the anti-heroes that are purple, I will be making the edge of the base purple. So there we go. Alright, so now we can leave this to sit a bit while the paint dries. You know what, I missed doing some parts on the face. I missed doing some parts on the face, and that's not gonna go well. Let's see if I can get this brush back to a good spot as far as doing dry brushing. Hang on. Because there's some high points on the face that should have some dry brushed areas. Let's do that real quick. There we go. It's small, but it's needed. Alright. There we go. Alright, so now I can get the dry brushes off to the side. Oh, hey, you know what I didn't put up yet? Hang on. I forgot to put up the reference picture. There we go. So, we've got the dry brush stuff done as far as setting down like the base coat for shading purposes. So, now we have to decide on where we want to start. Honestly, I think we're going to start with the suit. More specifically, the blue parts of the suit. that seems like a good spot to start with. It's a lot of color, because basically we've got colors for this. We have flesh tone for the face, we have white, black, and blue for the eyes, we got white for the teeth. For the suit's got two colors essentially. It's got the blue, and that will be running through most of it, and then it's got the white for like the lightning bolt, the gloves, the boots, all of that's going to be white. For the hair, I don't want to make it just white. I want it to be slightly different from the rest of the figure, so I'm actually going to use something a bit more similar to the Evan Peters version of Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, where I'm going to kind of do a silver color. So I have some silver paint that I'm going to mix into whites to kind of do a melding of the two. That way the hair will be a little shiny, mostly white, but it will be different from the rest of the paint job, just to kind of separate it out a bit. So yeah, the suit's only got two colors really. The hair, like I said, it's going to be silver with white kind of mixed in. And then the base it's just rubble, so it's going to be mostly gray. I will do some adjustments to really differentiate it from this, because it's very monotone and I don't want to really have it like that. Certainly once I go through and do some wash on it, it will help accentuate the base a little bit. So yeah, that's basically what we've got. So there's not a whole lot of color variation that I need to do for this figure, which makes things a little bit easier as far as getting through the figure faster than I normally would for this kind of stuff. So let's do some blue here. So I'm kind of torn. Like, I've got the picture pulled up. That's a very bright blue. I could do that, but I feel like that's also going to kind of just take away from the edge of the base too. I'm thinking I'm gonna do a darker blue, which is not unheard of. I've seen a lot of reference pictures of Quicksilver with a darker blue, so I'm gonna try doing a medium blue, which looks really gray, but believe me, it's a blue. I'm gonna mix that with some of the sky blue that I have, which is this stuff, and we're gonna use that to do a more subdued blue for the suit. I am realizing as I'm sitting here that I forgot to grab my toothpicks that I need for the paint, so I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Sorry for the wait. Hope I didn't stay away too long. So yeah, grab some toothpicks. So let's get some paint into this palette, shall we? I think we're gonna do just a couple drops of this medium blue. And do more sky blue and kind of try to get the sky blue to mellow out more. I don't want it to be as bright as it is. Taking a look at this. Is that, do I want it brighter? It's still kind of grayish. You know what? I'm gonna add a little bit more blue. There we go. There we go. That's closer to what I wanted. Alright, so let's get this set off to the side for right now. We need some water. Let's do 2 drops. That should be about the right level of thin. Again, with this, we don't want to glob on the paint too much. We want it to be reasonably thin. If we need to add more layers, we can add more layers. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna go with the smaller brush on this. Okay. I realize this is very gray, so it's not going to show up super well on camera yet, but it will as we add more layers on, so... Gonna start small after all. And we'll eventually get up to the point that we want it to be. Hang on a sec. Phone keeps buzzing. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure that the phone is taken care of and not, like, audibly buzzing on stream, because that's kind of not great, you know? At least I remember to turn off the sound, because otherwise you'd be hearing my notification sound. And that would be hilarious the first time and annoying every time after that. So I decided to go with a notification sound that would make sure that I do not miss it when it goes off. So I have my notification sound is Navi from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Just going, hey, listen. So it lets me know that I've got a notification, for sure. It's hard to miss it. But also, it's, like I said, hilarious the first time, and then really rather annoying after that. Which is kind of the idea. I gotta get this out of the way, that way it's not colliding with me while I'm trying to get paint out of here. There we go. I suppose it's appropriate that, talking about the Navi notification noise while the Forest Temple music is playing. It's good music. It's, like I've said it previously on stream, but I feel like it's always worth repeating. Not necessarily the chillest of music. It's nice, I like it. But it is highly effective in making you really creating tension as you're going through the forest temple. But you gotta say, forest temple, probably one of the spookier dungeons in Ocarina of Time. Like, as much as the Shadow Temple kind of had a spooky thing going for it in Ocarina of Time, the Shadow Temple was like, kind of your stock standard spooky visuals, and not being able to, like, see things that are there because you need to use the lens of truth to see them, kind of thing. Like, it's got that going for it, but the forest temple is a lot of, you're put very off kilter by the music, especially once you get to, like, the areas where you start flipping the gravity of the dungeon and stuff like that, that really puts you off kilter too. So it makes it so that it's kind of one of the spookier dungeons in the game, which I really like. I'm really liking how this blue is turning out on this. Like, it's definitely closer to a gray than like the reference picture has, But I like it. It's a very subdued blue, which I think works pretty well for this. And like I said, it won't take away from the blue ridge of the base after. Like, it'll be a different shade of blue from the base. There we go. Ooh, I'm hearing the music kick in. It's Phendrana Drifts from Metroid Prime. Now this tune is a chill tune. God, I love Metroid Prime. First one especially. The third one is pretty fun too. Second one, whew, man, I don't know. Like, I kind of fall on the opposite side of how most people talk about the second one. I played it on stream. I got to what I think is the end of the game, and I spent 30 minutes getting the boss down to about half health before I ended up dying, and it was just like, good God, I don't want to play any more of this. The limited ammo aspect of the light and dark beam and the necessity of alternating beams to get the ammo that you need was very, very, very annoying. And having the I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like the combo beam. They used both ammo. That one just chewed through all the ammo, and it's just like, oh God. Like, the ammo aspect of Metroid is fine. Like, I'm used to having to keep track of missiles, super missiles, power bombs, stuff like that. So it's not like I'm completely anti-ammo in Metroid. It's been there for a very long time, like basically from the beginning, because you had to worry about your missile count in the original. But you've always had an easy way of getting ammo. Like, certain enemies would reliably drop a certain type of ammo. So you know where you could go to farm certain types of ammo. And in general, you would get ammo that you don't currently have when you kill stuff. So there was a fairly regular way of getting ammo back. But having to think about, well, I need to fire this beam so I can get this ammo that I'm low on. Like, it was an interesting idea, but very annoying in practice. And I'm glad that they didn't do it for Metroid Prime 3. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And the shading from the slapshot method really helps it show up even better. So that's looking pretty good. Let's get that put down. Turn this real quick. Wash off the brush. And we'll get some white down for the white parts of the costume. I can also do the eyes at the same time. Well, at least the first layer on the eyes. Okay. Fix over here. The dog is laying in her bed in the corner. She's looking very adorable right now. And we gotta check. This is flat white. Perfect. If it was regular white, that would have been a problem. So leave that in there for the moment. Get this closed up. Let's get some water into this for mixing. Let's do one drop for right now because it's kind of a small amount of paint and I don't want to overdo it. kind of sliding down off the edges. I think that might be enough water. There we go. Let's get some paint down on this. Just get a little bit of excess off. You know, while we're painting Quicksilver, I suppose I should at least talk about the character. So I didn't read a lot of Marvel back in the day. So, wasn't really familiar with the character until, like, the Marvel movies started to come out, and I started to get a little bit more into the, comic side of things, but, gotta say, movie-wise, kind of both ways on the movie spectrum for the character. So Quicksilver has been in both the MCU and in the X-Men stuff. As two completely different characters. So he was in the MCU, he was in Age of Ultron, which he was fine in that. I feel like he was wasted as far as, like, they killed him off same movie, which is just like, really? Like, you could have done something with him. Like, you got him in one movie and that's it. So it was kind of a letdown. And he was just not super interesting of a character in the MCU film. Not even films, film. He was just kind of there. Like, Scarlet Witch was way more interesting in Age of Ultron. And she continued to be a very interesting character after that as well. But yeah, so, like, it was just kind of not, they didn't really do much with him in Age of Ultron, which was a disappointment. I feel like there could have been a lot they could have done with him, but they apparently just wanted to, they really wanted to have a character death in that. Yeah, so kind of just a nothing character in that movie, but then they also had Quicksilver in the X-Men films. Specifically, he was in Days of Future Past, which I liked that movie a lot at the time when it came out. In retrospect, it was kind of a movie, but it was fine. It was fine. But the Quicksilver scene, in particular, when I say the scene, like, he's in a couple scenes in that movie, but, like, the scene that he's known for in that movie is when they're breaking out Magneto from prison, and he's running around the kitchen area. Quicksilver's running around the kitchen area, and it's all slow-mo, and it's fantastic. And I haven't watched, what was it, X-Men Apocalypse? I heard it was not great. but I have seen the scene of Quicksilver running through the X Mansion and saving people, and that was fantastic. I really liked that. And so one of the big things too, as far as stuff I liked, like the comedy aspect of it was very good. Evan Peters playing the character, where he's very rapid paced in his delivery, was really fun, because you have to keep in mind that Quicksilver is essentially slowing himself down to interact with people. So, like, one of the things that I've seen about Quicksilver, as far as like the comics go, is he did a very good explanation of what his power is like. So, it's not him running fast, it's him moving at normal speed for him. And with him slowing down to talk to people or anything like that, he related it to, if say you're in the bank waiting in line, and you're sitting there waiting in line, how boring that is. That is what it is like for him when he is trying to slow himself down to interact with normal people. And I thought that was a very good way to represent the character, because it is a situation of he is not going at normal speed for himself. He is moving at slow speed for himself so that he can interact with people in a way that they can understand him, that kind of thing. I thought that was a very cool way of doing it. And to relate that back to the Evan Peters version of Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, like I said, his delivery is like spot on for really making you feel like that, because he's talking so fast, because he is slowing himself down as much as he can to talk to people, but it's still a struggle for him to get it to that speed, And then going even beyond his delivery of the lines for the character, the slow-mo aspect of the scene, especially in terms of Days of Future Past, during the breakout scene, when he is running in slow-mo for that scene, I think they did it right. Because when you're watching him run in that scene, he is moving at a speed that in terms of you're watching it, you're looking at it, you see him essentially running in such a way that it looks like it's a reasonable jog for a normal person, and everything is essentially frozen around him. And I think that is the correct way of displaying his speed. And I'm gonna contrast this to, let's say, the Flash in the Justice League film. So in that movie, whenever he is running in fast motion, right? And they do a slow-mo shot of him running. He is running in slow-mo, but then they also slow his movements down. And it just looks off, because I understand that they're trying to relay that he is moving incredibly fast. He is running at full tilt, but they make his movements go in slow-mo, so not only is he running incredibly fast that nothing is moving around him, essentially, but he is also... They slow it down so much that he is also running in slow-mo, which looks off. Versus, like I said, with Days of Future Past, especially, when he's running in there, he is running at a light jog in real time, essentially. His movements are not slowed down. His movements are what we would consider normal speed. And it makes it feel much more like we're seeing him move at his speed, you know? So it makes it feel like more of a real thing for his point of view, kind of thing. Because, if he was running at his insane speed, he would look like he's running normally in terms of how he sees it. He would look to be moving normal as far as he sees it, so I feel representing that by having him look like he's running at a normal speed for us helps us really get in that mindset of his speed, kind of thing. And then everything is just, super slowed down around him, which is how, again, he sees the world. And it lets us really get into that mode of it. And that's how I think, they should represent the thing, because let's be honest, if the Flash is running incredibly fast in the DC stuff, why would everything around him be incredibly slow, but then he is also moving in slow-mo? Why would that be the case? It doesn't make a lot of sense, other than the director trying to make us feel like we're watching slow-mo of him moving, which, if he's moving that fast, why wouldn't he look like he's just moving at regular speed with everything around him being slow, I don't know, it's a minor gripe of mine, but it is something that I feel works better for representing the speed of a super fast character. Now, granted, this is not me complimenting the X-Men movies, because I'm going to be perfectly honest. The X-Men movies are not the greatest. Like, the first one's pretty good. The second one is incredible. The third one, not great. First Class was decent. Days of Future Past was okay. Like, I really enjoyed it when I first watched it. In retrospect, it's just okay. Like, it doesn't make a lot of in-universe sense when you really start to think about it. So it was kind of just eh. Let's see. I haven't watched Apocalypse, but I've heard not great things about it. So, I will watch it at some point in time, but I'm not expecting much. Let me think. What are the other X-Men movies? Dark Phoenix, I heard, was not great, too. It was essentially they were trying to fix Last Stand, and did not go well, from what I heard. I will watch it at some point in time, try to go in without any prejudice, but not expecting much. So there's those. Oh god, so there is X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is just an absolutely terrible movie, in so many respects. So that movie pains me so much. The story behind, like, not even the story of the film, the story behind the film is just absolutely insane, because the film was made because, hey, Wolverine is incredibly popular. Which, yep, correct. Wolverine is incredibly popular, and Hugh Jackman playing the character, like, he was incredibly good in the role. He was, you know, just fantastic as far as the role went. Granted, and my friend RJ will certainly take issue with that, but RJ's gripe being that he's not a hairy little man like Wolverine is in the comics, which, you know, fair enough. Because that is certainly how Wolverine is in the comics. I can certainly understand that part of it. But acting-wise, I thought, you know, Hugh Jackman was very good in the role. But X-Men Origins Wolverine, so they decided that they were going to make an Origins film for Wolverine because he's incredibly popular of a character. Fair enough. So they decided they're going to make this film. They went to Marvel Comics and said, hey, we want to make an origin film for Wolverine. We're going to make this film. You need to give us a story for it. Or, if you don't, we are going to make our own origin story for the movie. So you've got the choice of, you can do it and we'll use that as the basis, or we're going to write our own without your input. So Marvel Comics did do that. They made an origin story for Wolverine. It was an incredibly good series. Sorry, I'm just getting stuff prepped for the next thing. So yeah, it was an incredibly good series. It's fantastic. I read through all of it. It was extremely good. So then the X-Men Origins movie rolls around. I'm excited for it because I read the comic and I went, if they're putting this on the screen, I'm going to be super happy with it. And as things were getting announced, they announced that Ryan Reynolds was going to be playing Deadpool in the movie, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, he wasn't in the comic, but yeah, totally. Like, by that point, I was very, very much a fan of the Deadpool character in the comics and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, please. I would love to see this, and, you know, especially, I was very much in the camp of when they announced that Ryan Reynolds was going to be playing Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I was like, oh my god, that actually makes perfect sense. That is like the perfect casting for the character. So I was super duper excited. And then the movie came out, and I will say this at a bare minimum. Ryan Reynolds playing Wade Wilson at the beginning of the movie, fantastic. Perfect. He was born to play Deadpool. Which obviously later on when they made the Deadpool movies, it's like, yup. It was the perfect casting, because he is fantastic in those films. The Deadpool films in particular. So yeah, there was all of that. The rest of the movie was just terrible though. Like, so the Wolverine origin comic that they used as the basis for the X-Men Origins Wolverine film, the first, like 10 minutes maybe of X-Men Origins Wolverine, the movie, is the first 10 minutes of that film, which is basically like the pre-credit intro, essentially. They used the first issue of the comic series, and that was the first 10 minutes of the movie. And after that, they no longer used anything from the comic. And everything was just their own stuff that they made for the film. And it was just like, why would you force them to make this comic and then not use it? Why? Like, it was so good. Why would you ignore this fantastic material? So yeah, it was just like, what the heck? And then, to make matters worse, like, just once you get towards the end of the film and they bring in Deadpool, it's just like, what? This is not Deadpool, like, in any way, shape, or form. Like, just to kind of, like, go over everything wrong with it, like, they didn't understand the character of Deadpool at all. Well, obviously they did, though, because they cast Ryan Reynolds, so they knew the character of Deadpool. Like, they knew him from the aspect of he's a wisecracking guy that, you know, breaks the fourth wall and stuff like that. Like, they understood enough about the character to make the decision of, hey, we're gonna cast Ryan Reynolds. And the beginning of the movie, granted, the whole spinning the swords to cut through the bullets thing was overdone and not really proper for the character, but it didn't matter because Ryan Reynolds was fantastic for the role. So, like, there was that. But like when they made Deadpool, I keep putting Deadpool in air quotes because it's not Deadpool, but when they put Deadpool in at the end of X-Men Origins Wolverine, he is not Deadpool. Like, they sewed his mouth shut, which is like the tagline for the character is the merc with the mouth. So making it so that he can't talk is just like, what? Why? Why would you do this to this character? So there was that aspect, and then going beyond that, it's just like, you know, you've got the situation of, well, what does he have for powers? Well, in the comics, he's got regeneration. That is his power. He got his regeneration power from Wolverine. So he's got Wolverine's regenerative ability. That is his power. That's what he's got for a power. And it counteracts his cancer that is riddling his body at the expense of making him crazy. And that's where he gets his breaking the fourth wall stuff from, is his insanity makes it so that he realizes that he's in a comic book, stuff like that. So like, it's not a power per se, but that is why he is the way he is, kind of thing. So powers wise, what does Deadpool have? He's got regeneration. That's about it. In the comics, he does teleports, but it's because he has a teleportation belt, which is only in some of the comics, and it frequently breaks so that they can't just keep using it as a magic thing to get him out of situations and stuff like that. So like, there's that aspect of the character. So he's got regeneration, and he sometimes has teleportation, but only through technology. That's it. In X-Men Origins Wolverine, he has his mouth sewn shut. He's got katana blades that come out of his hands, which the blades are as long as his arm, and they retract into his arm, but he's still able to bend his arm, which doesn't make any sense. So, like, they're trying to give him, you know, Wolverine ability, except he's got katana blades, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, he uses katanas in the comics, but they're regular katanas. They're not in his hands. So it's just like, they got that. There's, what other... They gave him teleportation power, which, again, yes, he can teleport in the comics, but it's not a power. It's just technology that he has. So it's like, you didn't need to give this to him. And they give him Cyclops eyes for some reason. Just cause. Like, why? So yeah. And he's just being controlled, like, he's not... It's not him, he's just being controlled by his creators. So it's just like, it's not really Deadpool, you know? So, anyway, long-winded thing of saying, I absolutely hate the X-Men Origins Wolverine film. I haven't seen The Wolverine, which was the second one. I've heard it was decent. I will give it a watch at some point in time, but it's one of those things where I hated the first film so much that I basically said, nope, I'm not watching any more of these. That is until Logan came out, and Logan is a masterpiece. Like, if we're ranking the X-Men films as a whole. And keep in mind, Deadpool is my favorite character, without a doubt. Absolute favorite character. If we're ranking the X-Men films, Logan is by and far the best X-Men film there is. Like Fox X-Men film. Absolute best film there is. And then, you know, like Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 after that. And probably X-Men United shortly after that. Granted, again, this is my extremely biased ranking of the films, but I think you could go to anyone who's seen a good chunk of the X-Men films, and they would still agree that Logan is the best X-Men film. It is just a masterpiece of a film. But yeah, so we've got Logan. Logan, fantastic. We'll always go back and watch more of that film. It is just an amazing, amazing film. That I'm gonna tell you right now, if you haven't seen the X-Men films, you don't need to have seen any of them in order to watch Logan. Logan is a movie that stands on its own. You need zero basis to go into that movie. You can enjoy it on its own merits. But yeah, so there's Logan, there's... I'm trying to think of the other X-Men films that are out there. The Deadpool films, obviously. I'm a big fan of those. The first movie is pretty awesome. They, obviously, the writers love the character. They know the character. Ryan Reynolds, obviously, he had been petitioning to play the character again in a proper film, like a properly represented version of the character in film. He is Deadpool. Like, I will continue to say that, like, he is the character. The character is him. There is zero way to separate the two at this point. Like, he understands the character so well. The writers know how to write the character at this point. I imagine Ryan Reynolds has a lot of input on the scripts. Just fantastic. And honestly, the Deadpool films kind of get the X-Men characters better than some of the X-Men films too. Like, Colossus. Colossus in the other X-Men films is basically a background character and doesn't really do anything. Barely has a speaking role in the regular X-Men films, which is a shame because he's an interesting character. So yeah, like, just really wasted of a character in the other X-Men films, but he's given so much life and personality in the Deadpool films, and they really, like, do a good job of understanding the character as well. Like, they do just a fantastic job bringing that character to life. He's so wholesome. He's just great. So yeah, it's I've really enjoyed the Deadpool films. Oh, you know, talking more about the the Deadpool films as far as understanding the X-Men characters better. They had a much more accurate Juggernaut in Deadpool 2 than he was in Last Stand. Like, again, they are doing a better job of bringing the characters to screen in the Deadpool films, which are just meant to be goofy comedies, than they know what to do with the characters in the mainline X-Men films, which are still essentially part of the same shared universe, but just, like, it's amazing how they did a better job of bringing different characters to screen in the Deadpool films compared to the mainline X-Men films. I'm sorry, I just went silent. It's kind of started to get into the zone again as far as painting. So yeah, like, overall, the X-Men films could have been better, but there's some that are just fantastic. And I'm hoping that they do a good job of bringing the X-Men to the MCU. I can't imagine they're going to do a poor job with it. They've been pretty successful with all the Marvel stuff so far. I cannot complain too much about the MCU stuff. Like, they do a great job with what they've got. I am super stoked that they are going to be doing a third Deadpool movie. It is going to be in the MCU. So that's going to be fantastic. And they're going to make it sure that it's still rated R, which is the way it should be. So here's hoping that it's gonna be a good one, and it's gonna have Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine one last time in it, which that'll be pretty fun to see. It's a role that he just can't seem to get away from, but it'll be good to see him actually get to interact with Deadpool in a movie. So that'll be cool. It was very fun getting to see Cable in Deadpool 2, because those characters have a lot of stuff that they do together in the comics. So, like, there was a whole Cable and Deadpool series, so it was cool seeing Cable come to the screen, and I thought Josh Brolin did a pretty damn good job playing the character. It was an unexpected person to be playing him. I had, like, I thought Stephen Lang would have been a perfect fit for Cable, at least visually. But like, Stephen Lang is a great actor, so like, I think he could have really knocked it out of the park as well, playing Cable. But that being said, I think Josh Brolin did a fantastic job playing Cable in Deadpool 2. He was just very, very good. He understood the character very well. Really gave a lot of personality to the character that, you know, if it was given to a lesser actor, might have struggled to really make that character stand out. And of course, Zazie Beetz as Domino was fantastic. She was great. Had a lot of fun with that character. Excuse me, sorry. My nose was running a little bit. Might have to do some more work on his face, because the paint is coming in very splotchy, which doesn't look great. I might just need more water. Let me drop in one more thing of water. Hang on. Like, it's gonna make it extremely thin, but the paint is also going on very splotchy, so kind of needs a little bit more to make it spread out, because it's kind of just glopping up in certain areas. So yeah, like, Zazie Beetz was fantastic in that movie. The X-Force joke was fantastic in Deadpool 2. Like, I was pretty happy to find out that they were going to be introducing X-Force into Deadpool 2. Like, the marketing on X-Force for that movie was amazing, because they like really like went on, they really went for it and like made people think, hey, this is gonna be a setup for an X-Force spinoff. And that was the joke. It was just fantastic. I remember sitting there when the mission is going that X-Force is involved in, and just everyone is dying, and I was like, wait, what? And the scene ends, and I'm like, oh my god, that is an amazing joke to just kill off a good chunk of X-Force. One thing I am really looking forward to with Deadpool being in the MCU is something that is very, very small, but means a lot to me. Is they make like a reference to this in the first movie, but in the first Deadpool film, they have during the fight on the what is essentially the remnants of a helicarrier, shield helicarrier. Deadpool is, cutting through all of these mercenary soldiers. He doesn't kill one, though. He stops and says, "Bob?" And it's this random mercenary who's Bob, and it's a thing that, for most people, they'll just go, okay, well, that's weird, and we'll continue on from there, kind of thing. When that happened, I was hooting and hollering in the theater, because it's Bob, Agent of Hydra. But of course, they couldn't say he was part of Hydra in the Deadpool film because that was the MCU, so they couldn't make him part of Hydra. But Bob, Agent of Hydra, is from the comics, and he's kind of like an unwanted sidekick of Deadpool in a lot of stuff. He's hilarious. So like he's not a super important character in Deadpool, but he's enough of a reference that the fans of Deadpool would be like, oh my god, it's Bob. So yeah, I was super excited to see Bob in there, but he was basically just there for a reference, fan service kind of thing. It would be cool to see him pop up again. It would be even cooler because now Deadpool will be part of the MCU, that they can actually have Bob be an agent of Hydra. So it would be cool to actually see that kind of finally happen, So I will keep my fingers crossed that we will end up seeing an official Bob, Agent of Hydra, in the MCU. I'm really hoping for it. We are going to try to touch up the eyes here a little bit because the eyes are very subdued, and I want them to be extraordinarily white. So I'm just going to do straight paint on the eyes here. It's kind of the same thing we ran into with Korg, where you don't want the eyes to be thin, you really want them to show up well. And actually, while we're here, let's do the teeth. I'm definitely going to have to go through and do some touch-up work on this. Because the face is That's not quite right. The flesh tone is like too subdued, and I need to make the lips a little bit more there kind of thing. Like, it's just not quite right, but given enough time, we can make it work. But that will probably be something that I do off stream. I do have to say, though, I'm going to zoom in here. The hair, I like it a lot. It's the right amount of silver and white. I like how this turned out. I really, really like it. Yeah, that turned out really nice. I like that a lot. So, things we gotta work on with this. The eyes. Still gotta do more work on the eyes. Because I gotta put the irises and pupils on. So, here is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take some of this. I am gonna take the sky blue on this because I want the eyes to really pop. I want them to be as bright as possible. So, we're gonna take a little bit of sky blue. Here, I'm gonna zoom out. Take a little bit of sky blue onto the brush. Get it as tight as I can on the brush. And then I'm going to get this onto the eye. Actually, you know what? I want a little bit more precision. Brush, it's a little bit too not precise for me. I'm going to use a toothpick to get the paint onto the eye. You know what? Actually, I need a sharper tip. Hang on. Come on. I gotta have a good toothpick in here. There we go. That's a good sharp tip. Okay. Let's get this on here. So, there. A little bit more paint on this toothpick. There we go. No, this really isn't showing up super great on camera, but I got one eye hit with some paint. Here's the thing with doing eyes that I've kind of learned over time. You gotta do, as far as doing eyes go, and granted I'm not like the end-all be-all expert on this, but it's tough to really show, but eyes, you want there to be the white, but you want to really try to go to the very, very edges of the eye with whites. You only want it to cover like the very extreme edges of the thing. You want the color to take up most of the eyeball itself. Get some more paint. So, yeah, you do color for most of the eye. Like, I would say the vast majority of the eye should be the color. The rest should be the white of the eye. And it's just along the edges. Yeah. And then once you've got the color down, you also want to make sure that the color doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. It should be white on the bottom edge of the eye, but the color should go all the way up to the eyebrow. Because you want, like, the eyelid to be basically be down a little bit on the eye. So it should go right to, from the top of the eyeball to most of the way down. And then you just got to do a small black pinprick in the middle for the pupil. And we're going to let that dry a little bit. But yeah, then you do a small black, can't speak, small black pinprick for the pupil in the center of the eye. And then once you do that, you take a little bit of white, I'm talking like pinprick of white, and you make a dot, just like, you can pick a side, but basically to the top left or top right of the iris and pupil, basically that boundary point between the two, you make a small dot. That way you have a little bit of shine coming on the eyeball. It's very, very tough to get right, but once you do it, it looks really good. Alright, so I think that's dry enough. Let me get this mixed up. Do the iris, or yeah, not the iris, doing the pupil here. I'm sorry this is kind of tough to do on camera, but I'm trying my best. This may end up being like a lot of touch-up work that I do after. Let's see. It's very tough to really get things. Oh god, no! Oh no, oh no. I've got black paint all over my fingers now. Hang on. I will be right back. I am so sorry. I just got a ton of black paint out of the thing on me. Oh no, it got on my PJ pants. Oh god, I will be right back, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I am so sorry about that. Yeah, the black paints, like, totally leaked as I was trying to put the cap back on, and, got paint all over my hands and a little bit on my PJ pants. I have since changed out of those, so that was a fun time. Fun time. Oh no. I got it mostly off, but it's kind of all around my nail right now. Need to fix that in the shower later. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing the eyes and the face offline, I think, for this figure, because it's gonna need substantial amount of work, and I'm sorry, but that is going to take an extraordinary amount of time, and I am probably not going to have that kind of time to do that on stream today, but I will show you the end result once we get there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking so far. So here's what we're going to do for the rest of this. Let's see what we got here. I am going to make a... Oh god, I'm going to be opening up the black one again. Alright, I'm going to make a darker gray for the asphalt that, not even asphalt, but like the concrete or whatever that is standing on. See if I can do this without getting black paint all over myself again. Alright, so let's rotate the palette here. This paint is extra thin for some reason. Hooray, I closed this up without getting black paint all over myself. Success! I am a successful... I'm a successful painter. Didn't cover myself in paint. There we go. You can tell this is a live thing because how else would I... why else would I put on this performance for getting paint all over myself? We want a little bit more gray paint. Yeah, it's this is very much a yes, we're absolutely doing this live kind of stream, because why else would I show my ineptitude for all to see with trying to close up a small pot of paint. It's all good. Never make yourself feel bad about yourself like that. I'm just doing it as a joke. This is all small stuff that can easily be fixed, so... This is not, you know, rocket science, brain surgery. Like, this is all just fun stuff, and we are going to make sure we have a good time and not make it into a world-ending situation, you know? Just... we are getting stuff done, and we're having some fun while doing it, so those are the big things. So let's work on getting this asphalt taken care of. Well, asphalt. This Sure, we'll call it asphalt. This road surface that he is running across. This is not going to be super complicated. Really, what we're doing here is we just want to make sure that we get some paint down on this. And the thing that will really help it after is going through and giving it a good brown wash to really help get into those creases and make it pop a little bit more. Go. There we go. Yeah, I am pretty happy with how this is looking. Like the shading from us doing the dry brush work beforehand, like, looks really good. I'm liking it. I keep coming back to it, but the hair just looks so incredibly good. The only thing I will say with the hair is it needs a little bit of dry brush to make the top of the hair a little bit more bright. So actually, let's do that right now. Take this white, shake this up, and we're going to do a little bit of white dry brush on the hair to really make that stand out a little bit more, make the strands kind of pop out, you know? So here, I'm just gonna take this paper towel, get a lot of the excess paint off of this, and here we go. So then we just go over it like that. Looking really good. There we go. There we go. That actually, see, that makes a huge difference. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but you've got, like, the tops getting the whites. It looks really good. It really helps separate out the strands. I really like how that looks now. We are going to try to do a little bit more of the flesh tone here. I need to cap up this white to I'm gonna work on this flesh tone a little bit here, try to get this smoothed out as much as possible. Because it still looks very splotchy. I don't want his skin looking splotchy and shouldn't look like he has a rash, you know? Like I said, I still think I'm going to have to go through with a little bit of some touch-up work after. Try to clean up the skin. Because, yeah, it's looking very splotchy. I don't want him to look grayish and splotchy. Enough of him is already gray. His skin shouldn't be. Looking a little bit better there. I will say we gotta go through and do his lips a little bit. Because they need a little bit of a different color from the rest of him. And I think I might go through and do the eyebrows again. Because the eyebrows kind of getting a little bit of flesh tone paint on them. It's tough. They're so small, it's kind of tough to really get in there. Without covering up certain surfaces accidentally. There we go. What was I gonna say? Oh, so we were talking about the Fox X-Men films before and how I think that they did a better job with Quicksilver in those compared to the MCU Quicksilver. To go along with that, gotta tell ya, when WandaVision came out, and I was watching that live, I was watching it as it came out kind of thing. When they brought Evan Peters into an episode as Quicksilver, I was like, really? They're gonna bring him in and he's gonna be the Quicksilver? And this is how they're doing, like, multiverse stuff? And I was super stoked. And then very, very sad when that was not the case. And it was just a very elaborate boner joke. You know, it's one of those things where I understand the comedy aspect of it, and here's the thing, they knew what they were doing by having Evan Peters come in and do a cameo as Quicksilver. So, they knew what they were doing. Doesn't mean I can't be sad that did not end up being the case. I would have loved to have seen him get to do more Quicksilver stuff. Especially, you know, in the MCU kind of thing. But who knows? You never know. The MCU mutant stuff is still very much up in the air as far as what they are going to do with it, who they're going to cast. Obviously, they already had the cameo of Patrick Stewart playing Professor X in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So there's that. I don't think they're planning on having Patrick Stewart continue to play Professor X. Like, here's the thing, Patrick Stewart is getting very old at this point. It was fun seeing him in the cameo, but I don't want them really, having him do more and more and more work. Let him enjoy his remaining time on this earth. Granted, he is doing Picard right now, but he's getting up there in age, and I don't want them pushing him too hard. That being said, oh my god, the news recently of Kevin Conroy passing away. That was nuts when I found out about that. I was like, what? He wasn't that old. I looked up, he was only 66 when he passed away. And I don't mean to bring the mood down, but like, wow. That was so sad. Granted, he made the most of his time here, but wow. It was so sad to find that out. He is quite possibly my favorite Batman, at least voice-wise. Voice-wise, he is absolutely my favorite Batman. Dietrich Bader does a very good job as Batman. But it's hard to outdo Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy was Batman for all intents and purposes. He's a character that was very close to him too. He was very protective of his portrayal of Batman and Bruce Wayne. The fact that he had a different voice for both was perfect. He did such an amazing job of making sure that the character had a lot of depth. Like, certainly the writers did a lot of work with that too, but Kevin Conroy really brought so much life to that character. And it's very sad. It's very, very sad. I do need to do some Batman Arkham streaming. Kind of like a remembrance stream for Kevin Conroy at some point. I do want to do the one in the Red Hood costume for Arkham Knight when I hit that follower thing, but yeah, I need to do like a Batman Arkham stream. Maybe Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum was nice and small, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, the story of Arkham Asylum is the strongest one in the entire series. Like, I really enjoyed Arkham City a lot, but the story was not as strong in Arkham City compared to Arkham Asylum. Not to say that the story was bad in Arkham City. The story was fantastic in Arkham City, but Arkham Asylum had a very focused story that did even better by the fact that the area was much tighter for Arkham Asylum, right? Because you basically had like side quests and stuff like that in Arkham Asylum, but it was a very tight area that you were in as far as Arkham Asylum goes. and expanding it out to an open world thing in Arkham City made it so that the storytelling was not as tight in comparison. Arkham Knight was a fun game. The story was... the mechanics were really good. I liked what they did with it. Some of the detective work stuff in Arkham Knight was very, very good. I liked it a lot. They heavily borrowed from Arkham Origins for some of the detective stuff. Like the scene reconstruction stuff, which I thought was fantastic, and I think they should do more of that in Batman games. Like, I had a lot of issues with Arkham Origins, but like, I had a lot of issues with Arkham Origins as far as everything. It was very buggy. But the detective scenes with the scene reconstruction, crime scene reconstruction, was fantastic in Origins, and it was so lightly used. I think they should have done more with it. Arkham Knight used it more, but even then it was still pretty light. They could have done more of it. The story was the weakest part of Arkham Knight, and the other issue I take with it, sorry, we're going into a little bit of a gripe stream here. I was excited when Arkham Knight was announced, because I had really enjoyed the series. When they showed the Arkham Knight for the first time, I was like, oh, that's a cool design. And I also went, oh, is that supposed to be Red Hood? Is that this universe's version of Red Hood? And I was like, that, because that really looks like Jason Todd's Red Hood costume. Just, you know, done with a bat aesthetic kind of thing. And they, you know, the developers said, no, this is a wholly original character. Well, they didn't say no. They said, the Arkham Knight is a wholly original character that is created for this game. It was like, oh, okay. Sure. I guess they're just taking a lot of cues from Red Hood. And then I started playing the game, and, you know, they start having, like, the flashbacks and stuff like that, and then it was just like, oh, they're doing Death in the Family stuff. Like, they're actually, like, making references to Jason Todd, and I'm like, alright, is this ultimately just going to be Jason Todd, and it's a different version of the Red Hood, essentially? And that's what ended up being the case. So, I understand they couldn't just come out and say, without spoiling the game, that, yes, this is Jason Todd. I feel like their claim that this is a completely original character was a little not cool. But I understand the need to not spoil the story before the game comes out, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a tough situation, but gameplay-wise, I really enjoyed Arkham Knight. It was a very fun game. The Batmobile stuff was interesting. I feel like it added some gameplay variety to the game. I don't necessarily enjoy the tank stuff in it, but it was a thing for mobility concerns. Having the Batmobile was an interesting concept and really added to making it feel like a full-fledged, like, this is Batman kind of thing, because, I mean, he's got the car. But that being said, there were very few instances where I ended up using it to get around. I ultimately only really used it for puzzles. Whenever I needed to use the Batmobile for mission-specific stuff. Like, that was about the only time I ever used it. I didn't use it for getting around because I was flying everywhere. Because the flying is a lot of fun in the Batman Arkham games. So it's just the way it is. I feel like the Batmobile would be better used in a game that has a ton of area to cover. And granted, Arkham Knight was pretty big, but I don't know. It feels like there's just a situation of the flying being so fun that you're just never using the Batmobile to get around. Which actually, like, kind of harkens back to the Marvel Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 4. Like, they have fast travel in that, where you just, like, get on the subway. You almost never use it because swinging around the city is so much more fun. So why would you not swing around the city to get places compared to just fast traveling to them, kind of thing? So, yeah, it's to each their own, I guess. But yeah, it was just something that kind of struck me with the Batman Arkham Knight game, where the Batmobile, you never use it for getting around because the flying is so much more fun. So, anyway, I'm rambling here. Where are we at? Well, basically, we are just about done. At least as far as what I'm going to be doing on stream today. So I still got to do a little bit of work on the face. The face is still kind of very splotchy. So I'm going to do some stuff to try to fix that. The suit itself looks fantastic. The hair looks great. The surface of the road looks pretty good. I'm going to go through and actually do a brown wash over it to give it some dirts. Which will really help make things look a lot better with the road surface kind of thing. Until I do the wash, I am not going to do the rim of this because I don't want to potentially or accidentally get wash around the blue area of this, so that's why I'm not doing that right now. But I will ultimately come back and do that. So yeah, the figure's looking pretty dang good. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. The suit in particular, like, came out especially good. Like, it's about just the right shade of blue that I wanted for this. Doing the slap chop method of the shading really helps make the musculature pop out more color-wise, so I'm really happy with how that turned out. I gotta do a little bit of dry brush on some of the edges here to really make those pop out a little bit more, but that's probably something that I'm going to do off stream. Overall, pretty happy with how this turned out. So yeah, and I think that's where we're going to leave it today, because I've got a little bit of stuff I need to do this afternoon, but it was a lot of fun getting to hang out with everyone, and I hope everyone has or had a good weekend, if you got to have it off. And I'm always looking forward to talking to you again next time, because this is a nice, relaxing thing to do, and I always love getting to hang out with everyone. So yeah, ideally, I will be back on Tuesday to probably finish out Gravity Rush 2. I think we are at the end of it now, so that'll be fun to get back to. And then I'm going to try to have this be on Saturday again, as it shows up in the schedule. So yeah, if I'm looking forward to seeing you all again on some Saturday morning minis, and I hope everyone stays safe out there and has a good rest of your weekend. All right, we'll talk to you later, and yeah, stay safe out there. All right, bye bye.